we went to go see the new Bad Boys movie last night. I know you're not a big movie goer. Got to go see this one. It's worth going to see. Bad Boys, what is it called? I can't keep up. Bad Boys
I
for
keep
Life.
saying
Bad
for
Boys
life.
Ride or
No,
Die.
but it's Ride or Die.
Bad Boy 6. Bad Boys 12. Bad Boys 18. I forgot my girl Vanessa Hudgens was in this movie. Stole the show. Incredible. Somebody got to give her a leading role. I do think it's interesting though. She's not promoting it. I didn't see it on her Instagram. I didn't see it nowhere. So I do think that's interesting. But I was sitting there watching it, and they got the magic back between Will and Martin for sure in that movie. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, who would be the best two people in wrestling to do like a Bad Boys action type comedy? Who would you guys take? Current wrestlers.
Okay.
Current wrestlers. Give me two that you would like, hey, if I could pick those two, give me that action comedy. I'm here for it.
Low-hanging fruit. The true tribal chief and the final boss.
Solo and...
No, the true tribal chief. Not the one who sits at the head of the table. The true tribal chief. And the highest paid, and the highest paid actor that is there currently.
If it wasn't for the Cody Crybabies, maybe we would have had that at WrestleMania 40. Fuck asses.
Right. I
can't believe y'all ninjas are still crying about this, man. We want to talk about crybabies. Y'all just can't get over this, man. It's ridiculous. I don't want to answer the question. I'm so disgusted. Let's keep going.
Because he would have said Rock Roman 2. He would have said Rock Roman 2.
You know, I have Rock. I got Rock, but I got R-Truth. I think Rock and R-Truth would be fantastic. Because I don't know how funny Roman is, right? Like, so I would have taken Jay over Roman. I would have taken Jimmy over Roman. But in regards to like comedy, throw R-Truth in there, and then Rock can take care of the action spots. But highly recommend everybody going to see that movie. I was only excited because I'm like, all right, it's Bad Boys. Of course, we're gonna support and represent for Martin and Will. But the reviews start coming in. It was like 98% Rotten Tomatoes, and it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Real talk. When I was watching those previews, those trailers, and the one, I'm not giving anything away, but when Martin was eating that black jelly bean, I'm like, oh my God, we are not about to see this corny ass movie. But we got a hookup on the tickets. And dog, when we saw the 98, 97% Rotten Tomatoes for fans, I'm like, oh, they paying people off. They are paying people off to do these reviews. We sit up here, and I was that old lady up in the movie theater at the end of the movies clapping. I was like, this was an incredible movie.
Well, you didn't stand. You didn't even clap.
I did clap.
I mean, but hey, if you potted, cool. You're right. You stood up and you clap and you run up and down the rows, giving everybody high fives.
How could you not know that I was clapping? I clapped like this.
You said I stood up and clapped. I think this lady who did sit next to me, she brought like a 6-piece dinner.
And she brought her like her whole cup.
Yeah,
like her whole wine cup.
She was in it. I thought we was watching Black Panther again in the movie theater. Shout out to us. We always gonna be us.
And the guy that was at the concession stand had a T'Challa jersey on. I'm like, where they even make those at? Like, all right, let's go.
Episode 141 of the TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling. Best kept secret in wrestling podcast. You guys know already. 3 the hard way.
3 the hard way.
Thank you there, Mr. Knight. I'm your host, Matt, joined by Eshaun and Rhodesia. Shout out to the freaks. How are you guys? We talked about that last pod. Listeners and supporters of the podcast, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Initially, we were going to start with probably the Bloodline. I was going to check the temperature and see what y'all thought about Solo naming himself what he did and naming the right-hand man and et cetera, et cetera. And then last night, while we were in the movie theater, breaking news, developing story, however you want to call it. My guy Ricochet said, fuck this, I'm out. He put in his 90-day notice. Ricochet is expected to be out of here. I'm assuming he's going to AEW, but that's not the assumption. But what it looks like is accurate and factual is he did give WWE's notice, saying that he intends to be out of here when his contract is up, which his contract is up this summer. So, of course, word is he's going to be written out of WWE storylines here pretty soon. He already dropped the Speed title. which is exclusively to Twitter, after SmackDown to Andrade. So that's already in place. So my assumption is he told them already at that point. They knew it. But let's talk about it. Last podcast, we brought it up a little bit, and I said, hey, I thought that AEW fit his style. I thought AEW could really maximize himself there. And people were calling me crazy on social media for it. Once again, not knowing 100% he's going to AEW. I think that's where he's going for sure. And I think Ospreay probably played a really good or big part into this, but I want to ask you two, thoughts, feelings, give it to me.
Thoughts and feelings, a shocker. Did not see that at all. Samantha's still there from what we know. But again, these contracts aren't the same. Them working is not old school wrestlers where they would work 4 days out of the week. So I guess that really is no different than regular couples working regular jobs, but completely surprised with that. Like I said, when we talked about it on the pod, I can see what you mean as far as him being a better fit there in AEW, but I was just scared that assuming he's going to AEW, assuming he's going to let this contract expire, I just feel like after the first few months, he might just get lost in the shuffle. So I don't know if that's the best thing for him. But again, I'm not him, but I'm just saying for me, for my feelings, I was absolutely shocked and surprised. I guess his vision of his career and what he wants to do later in life is not what I thought. Shocker.
We talked about it. I don't know if I said I was shocked before. I'm not shocked, and I can see it, and I believe it's happening. I think he's going to AEW, and I'm for it because I'm for it in the sense that I think there needs to be a shakeup. So like I wanted to see him in WWE, but I think they need to reinvest into his character and get him like a mouthpiece. Get him a character, get him a mouthpiece. Because if he didn't, he was going to keep doing what he's doing, which is not a lot, right? Like he actually kind of reminds me of like Apollo Crews. He just popped up on SmackDown recently, or Cedric. Like these dudes, these three brothers are amazing talents, but they ain't doing nothing on that show. Like, right? We know what Cedric can do. Like Apollo has a great mix of speed and strength, and Ricochet is like is an arrow master, right? But these three guys don't have characters that you can really sink into. The only time they really push Apollo is when he was like the fake Nigerian king, what he was doing. Like he had the fake accent. Like,
and I do have
this
a
man's
question.
pushing the hell out of his ass.
I got a question about Apollo. I thought maybe I wasn't paying attention. 2 weeks ago, he was a heel, right?
Now, was he on the show 2 weeks ago?
Yes, 2 weeks ago he was a heel. This past Friday he was a face. I didn't say nothing because I was like, maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe I left it and did something. But who did
he worked? Yeah, he worked for one of
Andrade. 2 weeks ago, he worked Andrade.
Exactly. He wrestled them, and then one of the dudes from they're Los Lotharios. Is that what it is? One of them came and jumped him. Like I'm losing their names. What's their name, man?
Legato?
My man said Los Lotharios. Dude, you are mixing up like 3 different gimmicks in 3 different
what was their tag
decades.
team name before that? That's close. It was close to that. Before they was with Santos.
I was just thrown off because I'm like, when did he become a face again? Just that quick. Because I was surprised he worked heel against Andrade. But to your point of they don't know what to do with him, it'd be interesting to see what he does next Friday.
But that goes back to Ricochet, what I was talking about. Like, right, he just, like, let's see this one with the character. Now, I'm with Rhodesia. I think he goes to AEW. Now, Tony, if he's a fan of, like, people's, like, ring work, he's going to, like, give him a lot of work. They're going to be in a lot of things, right? We saw Wheeler Yuta, like, for months. Like, he was throwing that man down our throat, man. We saw him in every single, like, match. Like, he was played. I'm like, man, who is this dude, man? And then eventually he got over, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to see it. I wasn't trying to see it.
Because we was dogging. What is it, Wheeler Yuta? And we were like, okay, hold on, wait, this Wheeler Yuta is kind of good. No. Who the hell is a Wheeler Yuta? Like, how you even down with the BCD, whatever it's called? And then it's just like, this dude is actually kind of the truth. But then toward the end of that, man, they started punking him around. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that.
But he's back now and he's killing it, from what I can see.
Just one match so far, though, right? But
I think 2. Yeah, I think he worked a collision or something too.
But I think
He
you
did.
see with
He did.
Ricochet, you're gonna see him like in a lot of matches, right? He's gonna be able to do his thing, but if he's not, it's not a character type of thing. He's just gonna get lost in shuffle with all the rest of the guys, I think, in that way. But at the same time, like if I was him, I would probably better myself and do something else too. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get paid. He's still young enough. Why not bet on him? Hope that he catches fire down there, right? I didn't anticipate Will Ospreay being the promo that he's become. That I think is elevating him in that company. So maybe Ricochet can bet on himself. He can find that promo, find that fire, and bring some out of him.
You know what's so funny when I saw it, the first thing I thought was just good for him. And there's no secret, I prefer WWE television over AEW television right now by a long stretch. That's no secret. Where it was flipped a couple years ago. But I'm like, good for you because one, they offered him a nice payday. So you said like bet on yourself. If he's going to the Indies, cool. I don't really think going to AEW is betting on yourself. Still going to be making $1 million, plus or probably whatever that is. He's going to be on national TV. We know he can go back to WWE when he wants to. But I was just like, man, good for you. Good for you for whatever you feel like AEW can give you or outside of WWE can give you that you're not getting right now. If that is, you know what, man, I don't really like talking. I just want to go out there and show what I can do. I haven't shown what I can do since Lucha Underground and NJPW. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's, you know what, I do want to talk more and I'm not getting that over here. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he has in his mind, I am sure, a vision of what he can be and what he should be. And maybe that just wasn't happening in WWE. Now, I don't want to go as far as say like they weren't doing anything with him because he was on TV, but I think we can all agree he was not maximized to his full potential. Hell, The Rock said a few years ago, he's a future world champion. He was a future world champion. He said that when he was in NXT. He hasn't even sniffed a main event on a PLE where we thought he truly had an opportunity to win the championship. So, like, for me, that's what it was. It was like, man, good for you.
I haven't forgotten the whole tournament they did a year and a half ago, and they showed Ricochet having a great, impressive showing. And what happened? He never even won the title. Again, on the other side of it, I'm maybe happy because we got Gunther out of all it in his whole reign. But I just remember back then, like, dang, like you got something so good and electric with Ricochet. But now that he's presumably gone, this is just something that I feel deep down inside. Call me stupid or silly, but do you feel like this allows Carmelo to go into that spot of this 205 Live type cruiserweight that could be better than that, or not better, could be a heavyweight champion?
Carmelo don't want that. Carmelo said he don't want to be known as a cruiserweight guy. He doesn't want to be. He feel like, and I rightfully so. Like that's a death wish for like a small guy to be considered that. He said he doesn't want to be considered that. But going back to like the Ricochet thing, betting on yourself. I think betting on yourself is like he's comfortable in WWE. He got his girl there. He's being paid well there. They're going to feature him, but he's going to go somewhere else. And when you go somewhere else to another company, it's unknown. Yeah, making money is one thing, right? But when you feel like your talents are a certain level, like, right? Like, you don't want to go there just to get paid and not be on TV or just to be in the middle of the crowd, right? I'm sure that when he goes there, he's not thinking I'm gonna like get mixed up in the shuffle. Like he's figuring to go there, showcase what he's doing to be a top tier talent, like, right? So he's going there to be a top tier talent, improve. What Will Ospreay said that he's the best high flyer in the world, like, right? He can't show that right now in WWE, not how it's currently scoped for him, but maybe he can go there in AEW and do that. I hope he does.
Is it possible that WWE legit runs a death angle where they have Bron Breakker kill Ricochet in the next couple weeks on TV?
No, we're not on Netflix yet.
Got it.
So we're still kind of that tweener of PG-13 and R. But when we get on Netflix, absolutely. If we could draw this out, but he's due in July, so no. So
yeah, I can't wait to see what Bron does to him. Like that's the way he has to go out. He's got to go out by Bron just completely like ripping his head off or something, like doing a spear and his body like falls in like 6 different pieces like Mortal Kombat, and then we just see him on a random Dynamite sometime in August. But give me Ricochet and Ospreay now. This makes sense. Now this makes sense. if this has kind of been bubbling, you know, in the background for Ricochet, and like I said, I think Ospreay's got a ton to do with this. If we can get Ricochet versus Ospreay or Prince Puma, whatever his name is going to be, at All In, I'm good. Actually, I'm great. I'm fantastic.
Do it.
Oh, I mean, you can do it. Go ahead. It's only 15 minutes in.
Let's go.
Right there. Right in it.
Right in the vein.
So we'll see. We also got some free agency news. Man, contract season is crazy. So Penta, word is he is potentially looking at outside companies, and WWE is interested. Chad Gable, he is not re-signed yet, and there is interest from AEW. I guess like big interest. Natalya, she has not re-signed yet, and she is looking at some outside company. So, man, once again, incredible for the wrestlers to be able to have options. Incredible for us as fans to be able to see these folks in different places. What's your guys' thoughts about Penta? Is Penta somebody you would want to see in WWE? And do you think that's a good move for him?
I think he'd be great as long as he doesn't enter the LWO. So Penta will be perfectly fine if he enters WWE.
I forgot about them ninjas, man. Don't bring them up.
Because I don't think Penta, we know, can go, right? Some of our greatest matches is with them, the Bucks, back in AEW, kind of, and when they were in their infancy. But Penta can also not be such a high flyer and be just as exciting. He could work a slower match as well. So I could see him fitting in WWE in the machine a little bit better. Not a little bit better, but I could see him fitting in there. But just as long as you keep him separate, you don't have him touch LWO, I'm okay with that. But isn't he live, like real life brothers with Phoenix?
Yeah, they're Phoenix. Yeah, they're really brothers. Okay, man. With the Cody Hayden LWO, y'all really ruined my morning this morning. I ain't think nothing about the LWO all damn week, and y'all mention it. But I'm a big. I like Penta. I like Phoenix. I like that tag team. Man, I was really in love with the AEW tag team scene, especially in the first couple of years. Though, I would love for both of them to go over to WWE. Not because I want them to go to WWE, because I want to see them in a fresh, new environment on the big stage, right? So that's WWE. There's a lot of guys on WWE I like to see maybe in AEW. You know, just a fresh coat of paint and a different scenery, see how they react. Same thing with AEW. I think the Lucha Bros would be one of them. I love to see them in the tag team division. I mean, now you got SmackDown and Raw with tag team titles, right? You need to beef up those divisions. I love to see what they can do. Maybe in the contained environment, right? I don't want to see them doing, Canadian destroyers on the floor and and
we know that ain't
getting
happening.
up. Nope. Like, I don't want to see.
That's not happening.
Them no selling super kicks, every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see them and do what they do, cut some of that stuff out. I think it'd be amazing. Cause you think about it, if you look at their show, they don't have anybody like them on that roster. There's nobody look like Penta that wrestles like Penta that has any of his, and Penta's one of those dudes who has charisma, and doesn't really have to speak, right? He has an aura about him, right? And then Phoenix is so unique in the ring that he has it too. So I would love to see them together. I would love to see them. I mean, they ain't right now. We trying to elevate Jey Uso, but I would love to see Lucha Bros and the Usos in a match, man. Ooh. I think that would be, man, Rhodesia. I need to put a video or a GIF with when you put it in the veins. I need that in my veins, right? I love to see it.
Ouch.
And as for Natalya. And as for Natalya, man, I love to see her go to AEW and be that mean girl heel, right? That's just, I'm a veteran, that gimmick that Saraya almost did by mistake, hey, y'all ain't been nowhere, y'all ain't been on the big stage, gimmick she tried to kind of say at first and kind of turned against her. I want Natalya to do that, yo, you broads, I can't say the B word, you broads ain't did nothing in this business. I'm here to teach you how to do it. I'm a winner, y'all a loser. Follow me. And this would be this mean, nasty girl heel, right? Because she still can go at a high level. Man, I love to see it. And she don't even need a championship. I know AEW, they probably create another championship for her. They probably, call it the most women's continental champion or something like that, right? They give her a title so she can defend it or something. She don't need that. No titles necessary. She can just go in there and just be schooling chicks.
Imagine her being in the Owen as a surprise entrance. That would be
Oh,
incredible.
Ooh.
Yep. That would be like that would be like chef's kiss.
Mhm.
You were talking about Penta and Phoenix. I said like maybe 2 years ago. I thought Phoenix could have been a top baby face in AEW, and I thought Penta could be a top heel. I still think he could be a heel, and I think that's where his money's at. You won't have to worry about him talking. You can just have him sitting there looking menacing, and think about the mask, the gloves that they would
The
sell.
paint. Yep.
In,
In
yep,
WWE.
in WWE. That entire
yeah.
just marketing thing. But I would really like to see him in there. I haven't been blown away by his work recently because it's a lot of the same thing. And then that wouldn't happen in WWE. And like the producers of the matches wouldn't allow some of the things that we see that you kind of roll your eyes a little bit to happen each and every time he's out there. But I would like to see him in WWE. So let's rank it. So you got Penta, you got Chad Gable, and you got Natty. Give me 1, 2, 3. Not necessarily wanting to see him in AEW or wanting to see them in another said particular promotion, but give me your rankings in regards to just wanting to see them leaving WWE or flipping companies, I should say. Yep.
So we're going to rank them how much I want them to flip companies. Got it.
Yep. So I got Penta 1, I got Natty 2, and I got Chad 3.
I agree. Yep. My only worry about Natalya is I don't want her losing her legacy contract because she built so much. She has so much equity in WWE and just in the women talent that's there now that she had a hand in some of their development. That to me, I would feel could be lost. But again, we know that in this day and age in the wrestling business, as long as you leave on good terms, you can always come back. So I'll stick with Penta, Natty, Chad, but I just don't want Natty to lose her WWE legacy.
No, this business, man. Like Triple H, like if she leaves, she always be welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'd be like, if I'm pretty sure she sit down with H, she'd be like, yo, look, I'm old, but I'm just young enough for one more run. I don't think I'm gonna get that here, right? I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna do my thing, right? I'm sure, Natty, the door is always open.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
of course,
you're always family. Like, right, the Hearts have a legacy, right? No, Brett has done stuff for AEW, and I'm sure if he wanted to do stuff with WWE, he can come back and do stuff with WWE. It wouldn't be a problem. For me, like I want to see Natty go. Like I want to see her get one more run. I think she has one more run in her. I want to see Penta in a different scene. I think he's done all he can do in AEW. I want to see Lucha. I don't know what's going on with Phoenix's contract. I know it's kind of up in the air. They think maybe it might have got extended due to injury.
Because of injury
but I want to see both of them go. I want to see Chad Gable stay right now because I think he's doing some of the best work in his career right now. I want to see that angle. I want to see where it goes. I think his character and style is tailor made for WWE right now. I'm pretty sure probably it's a money thing for him. See, unlike Ricochet, I'm sure it's not a money thing for him. I think the bag is either way. I think he's looking for is the opportunity. So like a guy like Ricochet, yeah, I can see definitely. Yo, let me go do something else. I'll come back maybe one day, but right now let me go somewhere else and be in the top tier.
I would love to know. It'd be cool, like, if we lived in a world where you could, like, we talk like sports, free agency. And, like, we hear about somebody who's looking to leave a team or they're looking for a trade. And, like, say, like, that's the only bucket you can look into. So, like, you don't find out about surprises or spoilers, but it's only, like, free agency. I would love to know what Chad Gable is looking for. Because he's being used the best he's ever been used in WWE. And he hasn't re-signed his contract yet. And from all the contracts, anything actually since AEW has been around, nobody has ever complained about money that I can remember. Out of all the deals that WWE has done in the last 3 years or so, nobody has ever went somewhere else and just said they lowball me money wise. And I'm like,
but bruv, you see these bags they opening now though?
That's what I'm saying. That's
like,
what I'm saying.
It's like these NBA contracts, man. I think we ain't gonna talk about basketball on this show. Maybe not today. I wouldn't mind, but like Jaylen Brown, the highest paid dude in the NBA, for real. Like, right? It's just the money that's there. These bags are open for these wrestlers right now. Like, if Tony giving, like, I don't care. I get it, y'all Will Ospreay fans. Like $4 or $5 million a year. That's all.
I don't
Like
think
if he
I don't
can
think that's
get
confirmed. I don't think that's confirmed, is it?
Hey, it's out there, and it ain't been
Yeah,
denied.
I don't think that's an accurate number. But even so, we know WWE.
He probably getting paid. He's probably getting paid millions. Hey, why not? Why can't Chad Gable get millions?
But I'm sure WWE is
Like,
offering him that. Is what I'm saying. I don't think it's just a.
So
AEW is highballing everybody.
Do you think before AEW started, giving out these bags, you think like WWE would have gave him $1 million or something like a year ago, 2 years ago?
That's a great question.
Even with this run he's on right now, do you think he's $1 million man?
Talk about Chad?
I think the answer to that would be
Chad, right?
That would be.
Ooh.
I think you have to look at where the business is at. So AEW absolutely is contributing to everybody getting paid more, but WWE's making more money than they ever have. So if we would use the example of, say, his last run, say 4 years ago, if he's had this exact same run, would he get offered the same amount of money as now? No, because their business is not as strong as it was 4 years ago, or they're stronger now.
And I'm saying with the caveat that he's not he's not the world champion, and honestly, we got to look at the tiering of like who's on top of him. Like I don't see him breaking through that top tier to be a champion anytime soon. So with that being said, like he's an upper card guy, intercontinental US guy. Like you get that those guys are getting millions of dollars now.
Somebody had just released some information? It may have been somebody, I can't remember who it was. But I think they said the minimum contract right now in WWE is $400K a year. I think it was.
Okay.
So that's
minimum.
Like
350.
So think about that somebody's probably not even being used weekly. So
the
point is though, I don't think it's money is all I'm saying with Chad. I wonder what else that could be because he's being used right now. So we should know about Chad really, really soon. We should know about Natty really, really soon. We know about Ricochet already, and then I guess Penta will kind of just be a wait and see thing.
Ricky Starks too, right? Like Ricky Starks.
Well,
really
Starks.
quiet.
That Tony tell it.
He gone.
Starks
he out of there.
As good as gone.
Yeah,
that Tony tell it. It's all on him.
Last thing on contracts. If it was a straight up trade, say now we're doing trades, and it was Ricochet for Ricky Starks. Who gets out better on the deal? AEW or WWE? Just those 1-for-1.
Could they both just win? I think that would be a win-win.
So somebody's got to win.
We all win. We all win.
We can't do the we all win.
Why not? That's what we do in wrestling.
I think they both will
win.
win.
Give me an answer.
I usually answer all these questions. I don't usually say we all win, but I think
you should. You try really hard to come up with answers too. And that's what I appreciate you about.
I always try to.
She tries really hard. Yeah.
I think the switch is perfect. The switch is perfect. I think. I mean, okay, so we're going to say what's better. So are we talking about money wise? What's going to make the business more money? What are we saying?
No, I'm talking about
who's going to win.
I'm saying what company gets out better from that deal. And I think it's Ricochet to AEW. Even if he gets lost in the sauce like we've seen a lot of them do, just because when he does work with no restrictions on Ricochet, he's going to be a bigger deal than I think maybe Ricky Starks is, even with a fantastic gimmick behind him in WWE or NXT.
I don't know.
I don't think it's like super far off, but
yeah, I think it's half and half.
If we were talking trades, right, and you literally have Triple H and Tony Khan on the phone, and Tony Khan was to call H, or H was to call Tony Khan and say, all right, hey, how about this? Ricochet for Ricky Starks.
I think they both will feel they win.
I think
nobody has another first round pick or 6th round pick. I think they're fair with it.
I think Triple H will say, what else you packing in with?
No
Ricky
way. Well, yeah, because we haven't really seen Ricky Starks in anything meaningful in the last 6 to 8 months. So, of course, I can see that point of view. Yeah, we don't know what that is. Whereas Ricochet, he was just your first inaugural speed champion. So, yeah, he's coming with more.
You hype on the speed. You talk about that all. You gotta let
because
it
go. they create. First off, we talk about AEW having 100 titles, right? And so WWE finally makes up a new title. They make up a new title for it. Listen, they dangled it in front of him. Stay here, Ricochet.
She said, but they just made the speed title for him. I was like, Rhodesia, and I think I just went to bed.
So you remember that, but you don't remember me clapping at the end of the movie.
You said I stood up.
So you pick and choose. I didn't say stood up. I sound like an old lady, and at the end of the movie, maybe I did say stood up and clap.
You stood up and clap. Yeah, you stood up and clap.
That's why I said no, you didn't.
I didn't mean to say I stood up.
But
and
hey,
clap.
but I said if we pod, yes, you did stand up. You screamed and everything.
Yes, Jesus.
All right, man. Let's move on to the Bloodline then. I think we did the contract talk enough. That was like 30 minutes.
No way.
Thoughts on Solo? Thoughts on Solo being the head of the table and Tama Tonga being the right-hand man? What y'all got?
To be very, 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 very clear, when I was watching SmackDown, Solo never said that he was a tribal chief. He just says he sits at the head of the table now. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes. He said by orders of the tribal chief.
By orders of the tribal chief. Okay. Which we still think might be Rock.
Be damn sure no, it ain't Roman.
I'm just here for it. So I'm just so happy that when the Marvel, the phase 1, 2, 3, whatever the 4 phase maybe was when after Endgame, everybody, those original Marvel people, they're like, oh, this is the second tier. And it just naturally like, oh, this ain't the OG, kind of like how we are with NXT. This ain't the black and gold, whatever. I'm just happy to be in this moment again, like where I care. This is like Bloodline 2.0, and I'm back at it. Like, oh my God, I'm sitting down on this roller coaster of the Bloodline storyline. So I'm just happy to be here. I don't have really many thoughts on it because I'm actually literally excited, just like how I was before in the Bloodline story. Let me just sit here. Let me just enjoy, take in what I'm seeing. Some of the best acting from Paulie, just all of that. Seeing Solo come out becoming this person of who he is, the head of the table. So right now, I really just want to sit back and relax and watch what's happening on TV.
Yeah, it's really good. I had a question though. This isn't the question I just talked to you guys about, but when I was watching this, I was like, okay, Tom is the right hand man. So then I started going, right, HM. Okay. I was like, what was he before? He was the MFT.
Yeah.
Motherfucker Tama, remember? Motherfucker Tama.
I'm like, what is it? Like, what is he? Like, maybe that was what he was. Like, maybe he's Solo just made something in the moment. Like, you my mother Tama. Like, I guess, like, right? Maybe that wasn't a thing. He just freestyled in that moment. I'm wondering, like, damn, that ain't what MFT stand for. But I'm here for it. I think it's a great thing. Like, Tama, he can go in the ring too. Like his stuff, he looks really like his rules have like his moves have a nice snap to him. And the infamous Tagaloa,
yeah,
I'm here for that too. Like, I mean, I like what they're doing, and I love how. And this is what we talked about. Like for instance, like the GOD, if they were to go to AEW, they'd just be another tag team.
Correct.
Like, and WWE, because of the story and Paul Heyman, like these dudes are criminals. They couldn't get in WWE for years because they couldn't pass the background check because they are dangerous men. They, like he's just building these guys up to make them like these really just horrible, hate-filled men. Like, right, and that's just part of storytelling. So, like, when you're asking about like who will win, like I'm sure whenever Ricky comes down, like because of the type of promos and emotion that he can create on the microphone, it'll mean more in the long run, right? Just like it's meaning a lot with the Bloodline storyline right now. And they're not even doing a whole lot with them. They're just putting them out there and they're just talking them up to where like this version of the Bloodline is just super menacing, and none of these dudes got championships.
I was watching Friday and I'm enjoying it for sure. But I did think to myself, somebody could watch this and say, this entire story is just about Roman and Roman's not even there. Like in a negative way.
I was like, what's wrong with that?
We're rehashing Solo. Okay, he's ahead of the table. Well, Roman's already done that. Tama is the right-hand man. We've already had a right-hand man.
You mean recycling characters in their stories. Okay, okay, I can see that.
Somebody
I see that.
Thinking like they aren't doing the new Bloodline many favors because they're just only a knockoff of Bloodline 1.0. I could see somebody saying that. Do I agree with that? No, but like, I was like, that could be a thing. I could see somebody saying that. So, I do think though, Friday was the first time I had the feeling of, okay, we need to see Roman sooner rather than later. And I'm not talking next week. I'm not even talking next month. But it had that feeling of, because like they're starting to put the chess pieces in place, right? Where this is completely going to be Bloodline 2.0 versus Bloodline 1.0. And I'm at a point where, remember some of those weeks and months where Roman was not on TV, and you're like, all right, okay, like what are we doing? Roman, it's time for you to show back up. Like, we got to get going, man. I had that feeling Friday. Like, okay, we're not there yet, but all right.
I don't mind letting Roman simmer a little bit more, but to your point, I did not expect, and at all, did not expect the fans to be from Mania practically cheering for "We Want Roman." I did not expect that to happen. And to, I guess, maybe the point you're saying there, are the fans going to still be there for months saying "We Want Roman"? So you kind of got to strike when the iron's hot. I can see now what you're saying about bringing Roman in sooner. But again, I don't mind him simmering a little bit longer, but will that engagement, will that excitement be there for him like it is right now, the "We Want Roman" almost every time SmackDown comes on?
No, I like what's happened. I like how they're positioning and everything, because you're building 3 new characters. The titles may be the same, but the characters and how they're playing them are totally different. Like, these are 3 totally different men than Roman and the Usos. Like, it's no comparison. This is, now you want to rank which one was better, but that's not what this is about. Like, This is a real, like, the way Solo is leading this team, it's a real vicious killer type unit, right? That's never how the original Bloodline was constituted. Like, I could see someone saying what you said, but a lot of people say a lot of stupid shit all the time, and that's okay, because it's the world, and like assholes, everybody got one. But at the end of the day, this is a totally different thing, and you got to build these characters. So until they get to the eventual storyline, right? Like with Roman, like, right, keep on and like keep building things to where they are, establish who these characters are, right? And then eventually when Roman comes and whatever he's going to do, because it's not going to just be about when Roman comes back. And so this is what we know. When Roman comes back, he's going to get an ass whooping. I think the kids are going. He's going to get an ass whooping. That's what you can expect for Roman to get once he comes back, right? Because Jimmy ain't going to be there. Jay on another show. Like, and they have a Ricochet. So we're not going to see that just yet. Not on one show. Soon as Roman comes back, We Want Roman, his music hits, like, right, he gonna get some foots on his ass. That's what we gonna expect. That's gonna be part of the next storyline. So I think it's a very interesting dynamic. What I wanted to ask you guys is that as long as Roman's been gone, like, right?
Mm-hmm. 2 months.
7 days and 35 seconds.
I have not been keeping count. But 2 months.
That's all. This is ridiculous fandom. And then, so he might be gone for like another month. With the Bloodline and the story we're telling right now, had he won at Mania, what do you think they would be doing with him in the Bloodline right now?
It wouldn't be this story. Yeah, it wouldn't be this story. He would still be off, but it wouldn't be this story. I have no idea what story it would be. It was time for him to drop it. We all know that.
Well,
but
do we all know that?
Well,
yeah, I think so.
I didn't. Okay. I wanted Survivor
Now,
Series.
we absolutely, after this, I do want to have a conversation.
So he can break the whole.
I do want to have a conversation about Cody and his 60-day run. I do want to have a quick conversation about that. But yeah, this story would be completely different, man. Unless he won. The only other story could be he won due to Rock's interference to help him. And now Rock, through Solo or through Tom or through Tungaloa, is making power moves that doesn't make sense for the Bloodline. That could have been that story, but I don't think there's much to that, especially not compared to this. And Rhodesia, you made a comment about this is why, like, actually thinking about the story and setting things up makes it matters. You say, like, you're surprised about the Want Roman chance ever since Mania. Well, because they told you immediately after. Because they told you immediately after he's a babyface. Immediately after, Cody comes out on Raw and puts Roman over. Mm-hmm. Hey, one of the best champions in history. Okay, so now your biggest babyface is telling the fans it's okay to open this guy up. He was incredible. Haim comes out on that Friday and he says, "Look, we don't make any excuses. We got beat. We lost. When you lose, you lick your wounds and you come back even stronger, meaner." Nobody made excuses. So now, for a fan who was just watching And they already we all like Roman anyway, but we're going to boo him because he's never here and Cody's our guy. You just told us without telling us that, oh, there is some redeeming qualities about this guy. All right, cool. And they're going heavy-handed on making this Bloodline 2.0. So we know we don't like Solo. We know, man, you treating our guy Heyman like a piece of trash. Heyman's stressed. Heyman is every single week, man. Heyman don't know if he's coming or going.
Yeah.
So that's why, though.
I have a question and a follow-up question. Do we know when Jimmy is coming back? How long his injury?
They said he's they said he's really close now.
So then my second question is it like a requirement for when Roman comes back that we're going to be going Bloodline 1.0 versus 2.0? Will Jimmy and Roman have to come back together? Like, are they exclusive for that situation? Or is it okay for Roman to come first and then Jimmy to return? It almost feels like then that would be kind of like a flat or a dud. Should Jimmy come back before Roman?
Yes, you have Roman be the last person to come
That's
back.
what I was thinking. Okay, so you would bring Jimmy back. So then so Roman return would be then upon Jimmy already returning.
Yes,
and you can't see another way out of that.
No, and then to E's point too, what you could do and make Jay an even bigger baby face. Roman comes back with, to save Jimmy, but he gets stomped out. He gets his ass beat. And then Jay finally, not the same night, right? But Jay then finally says, you know what? All right, let me go and help my real family. And now Jay gets that. And now we get that moment, that embrace, that hug, whatever that is, that handshake. And now you're off to the races. So they're interchangeable. And that's the whole point of why you want over characters, is because you could do it either way. And it's just a matter of your eyes at the end of the day are going to be on Roman because he's the most important, because we got to run this entire 2.0 versus 1.0. We still got to get to Roman Rock. Like, there's a lot of meat on that Roman bone compared to maybe what Jay is, but you could do it either way and it'll work.
Since I got my Booker hat on today, let me tell you what I do. This is 2K and I was booking the storyline, right? I'll have Roman come back first. Right? Doing what's going on, and maybe he think he's still the head or he don't know what's going on, and then he get the boots put down to his ass, right?
Okay.
So next week he come back for more. Then Jimmy comes out with a chair to help him. Like, right? So that kind of, now people are cheering Jimmy because he's helping the beloved returning Roman Reigns. So like in the opposite, you flip flop it, right? Jimmy comes back and they just whooping on it. Like Jimmy just was like a menacing, cornball heel, right? But if he comes back and he's saving a beloved figure, that puts some gas onto him, like, right? But it's just 2-man versus 3 at this point. Like, right? At some point it's gonna be 4 versus 3, right? We hoping, right, that we get Jacob Fatu in there, right? So now it's 4-on-2. We got to even these odds, right? So now we get Jay and maybe eventually Sammy or something like that integrated back into the storyline, right? But I think they should do something to kind of help build Jimmy, because right now, like, Jay got arenas rocking, doing the wave, right? Everybody anticipating Roman Reigns' return, right? Ain't nobody really thinking about Po Jimmy. Po Jimmy. Like, right, they need to do something to put some steam on the poor Jimmy. So if he come back and he just getting his ass whooped, he going back in that role of I'm just getting my ass whooped every week until my big brother and my cousin come save me, they ain't doing him no favors. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if you can put the Usos back together anytime soon with the Jay being as hot as he is. Like,
so
right?
you're saying
you're
saying let the admiration for Roman and all that help build Jimmy up as a back to being on their level. Now, of course, not a Roman level, but back on their top level. So then now when they're the Usos again, now they're both equally, maybe again, not equally, because Jay's going to always, at this point, I think, is going to be hotter than Jimmy. But it allows Jimmy to come up a few notches.
Yeah.
If he comes in after Roman.
And I don't know if you put them back together, right? Maybe you keep them separate so Jay can continue his singles run, right? He hasn't capped off that run yet, right? Or maybe they keep them separate. But if you keep them separate, you want to at least pull Jimmy up a little bit so that way he can stand on his own for some time. Because that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you put the Usos back together anytime soon, considering how hot Jay is.
Well, it is just him, Us. That is his music.
Day one-ish.
It is
Hey,
just.
I don't
just
mean
him.
to backtrack on contracts real quick, but WWE, when you get Penta and Phoenix, you need to buy their entrance music, okay? Because we can't let that go by the wayside. We need the Lucha Brothers music in WWE.
No. What is your boy can make a better one. We've been talking about him for weeks.
No.
I was about to ask.
We've been talking about
No.
Death Rebel. He's been putting out banger after banger. They got him. Got him. But hey, you know who they don't need to buy out the music, Rhodesia. You know what they need to buy out?
What, the contract?
Alex's contract. They need to buy out Alex's contract, man. I want to see the hype man in WWE throwing up the Penta sign, going crazy. They need to buy him. If they go, he need to go.
So wait, time out. Okay, E, I love you, but at this point, like the opposite of love is hate. I never hate anybody, but you sitting up here want Alex on WWE TV, but you hate Roderick Strong.
Let's go.
No, he don't want Alex on there.
He just said that. But you can sit up here and say that.
I want Alex.
You want Alex, but you hate Roddy Strong. Especially wait. His incredible video package after he lost. I think he lost right after before.
You can't compare Roderick Strong.
Video package. Oh,
actually, we haven't got to AEW that. I was like, you know what? Finally, they put this man in the right place. He wasn't that bad last week. But yes, give me Alex.
You talking about Roddy,
give
right?
Me Alex. Yeah,
I can't do this.
Yeah. The promo video was good, but
it was incredible.
The same way you were about
Alex.
I unintentionally potted. I intentionally potted. He's intentionally
lied. He's intentionally lying.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, when we meet our maker, they might, did you intentionally lie or do you unintentionally lie?
No,
I unintentionally lied.
Yeah.
So if we're going to intentionally and unintentionally lie, let's talk about Cody Rhodes. Let's talk about his Friday night. And once again, I think I'm in the minority, but his mean angriness felt a little forced to me. That's just not him, which is funny because he's an incredible heel, but he's an incredible heel of like that snarky, sneaky, like quiet kind of heel. Like I'm mad, I got to get to AJ, like the mean faces. I was like, man, it felt a little forced to me. They got the business done. They needed to. We get the I Quit match. I am looking forward to that. I do think that's going to be really good. Love the line at the end of, the match is what you should have done last week, and that was quit. Thought that was fantastic. I enjoyed AJ Swagger when he came out there with the Good Brothers. I thought that was a good piece of business. But we talked about Roman's being gone for 60 days. So Cody has had the title now for 60 days. And E, you made a comment on the last pod where you're like, hey, maybe we need to talk in the future just about his run of being a babyface champion. And I saw online people are talking about he maybe have already eclipsed or is equal to the top babyface champions runs in history. So Cena, Austin. I think that's a bit much for what we've seen out of this run because he was already over. Yeah, he was already over. Like he's not over because of the title. He got over because he didn't have the title. And now this is just, to me, like a progression of just how popular he's been. So if you want to say, hey, he's one of the best white meat baby faces that the company has had in history or since Cena and Austin wasn't white meat, I could see that. But if we're talking title reigns, I think it's too early for just a match of AJ Styles, Logan Paul, and then another match with AJ. What you guys think?
You want me to go first? Well, it's definitely, I think it's too early to say, but I think the trajectory is there, right? He's selling out. And he's doing something that Cena didn't do in his run. Like the women and kids love Cena, but the dudes hated him. Like, right? Like Cody got everybody right now. Like kids absolutely love him. I was listening to Busted Open and one of these guys came and he was saying that he wasn't a Cody guy. And this is a great story. He wasn't a Cody guy. But he was the dad of the little boy who just been Cody as Cody.
Okay. And
Cody grabbed him, talked to him a little bit, and they did the whole whoa and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He said after that moment, he became a Cody fan because he loved what Cody did for his kid. And that's what Cody's been doing since his entire run with WWE, fan by fan, right? He's been converting fans slowly every show, every time he's out there, every time he goes to, he gets a new fan, right? Just the way, character, the way he handles kids, whatever the case may be, he's building an audience and a relationship with people like we haven't seen a babyface. And it's very interesting. Like I like you think about the cynical world that we live in and what's going on today. Like he is a true like Superman like character, like boring Superman. Like this is one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily into Superman. I just think he's boring. Like, he's too goody two shoes. It's just not like but he's a vanilla babyface superhero character, and that's what Cody Rhodes playing in 2024, and it's getting over huge with a big portion of the audience. He has the kids, he has the women, and he's getting different men fans every single day. He's building them. Cena didn't do that, like right? Like Rock, and you got to go back even further back to the Rock and Stone Cold, but they did it as anti-heroes, right? They did it as anti-heroes. They didn't do it as a baby, like a true blue baby face. So Cody's on a great roll right now.
We're 2 months after Mania, and I said, so I'm going to go on the record. I said, give Cody 2 months, and people are going to start booing him. I said that. Cody still has the aura, and the fans are just as infatuated with him. So I was absolutely wrong. They are still there for Cody 100%.
Look at
you. You knew you was wrong. You just were saying that to say it in the moment.
Nice
you
job, Rhodesia.
You didn't believe that when you said it.
This
I want to hold it to you.
You really putting on for the women, because typically the only time y'all apologize about anything is when you're forced to. And nobody even brought this up. So you apologize without even being forced to apologize. That is great kudo points. That's why I love you.
Thank you. But first off, I'm always real, and I apologize when I'm wrong. I always apologize when I'm wrong.
But you didn't really mean that when you said it,
so
though.
listen.
Oh, yes,
I thought
you
you
did.
was being facetious.
No.
I know. That's honest to God. Straight. Was it shoot, work, shoot, whatever you want to call it. That's absolutely the truth. For my that was intentional. That was intentionally telling the truth.
I couldn't believe that. You hated that man that much? You thought that people was gonna hate him too, like in 2 months?
Absolutely. Jesus and I didn't hate Cody. I didn't hate Cody. I just hated Cody because he was going against.
You just called this man a hoe. You hated him.
I didn't call him.
You just called this man a hoe.
When did you call him a hoe?
You said
you called him.
You said Hody. You
called him Hody.
Hody.
Disrespect.
Just right now.
I feel like So I feel like Brian Keefe right now, man. Disrespect.
I told you I'm having issues over here. So maybe I just like almost burped or coughed or something, and then it came out as Hody. But no, it was Cody. It's always Cody.
No, we got us a new name.
But listen, stop. We're not doing that to him.
Cody Rhodes.
But
Cody Rhodes
you are. It's ridiculous.
Listen, but to Matt's point, did I feel that is being forced? No, but what I will say, because we have seen it before and we see glimpses of it, Cody is a flashy heel. I think when he's a heel, that's like going to be his lane. I think he's going to thrive the most in that. You mentioned about that one shot he did with his hand and his Rolex was showing just right in his pocket. That's like, to me, the ideal heel of Cody. An aggressive Cody is not.
That's why I think Cody is.
But he's not an aggressive. At the end of the
day, he's
not an aggressive heel. Him wanting to fight somebody. No, he's more of all right, I got you, AJ. But again, happy that it's built into an I Quit match. I think that is cool and clever. But again, I am going to still stand on this with Cody. I still feel like he's in a holding pattern. So again, if this is for Rock and Cody, like there's a fine line between people really, really caring about somebody and you're constantly feeding them these people that you know that they're going to lose against them, but you're feeding them good people. So then you have good quality matches. But to the point where my interest in Cody, you only got so much more time with me. I'm here right now because the rumor that we maybe want to see Rock and Cody maybe as early as SummerSlam. But other than that, I'm going to really be like, all right, Cody's just a boring champion as a face.
We gotta get another real Cody fan on here to really say that, because y'all and I have really been riding for him. Not the way y'all supposed to. Y'all really fans of his. We gotta get somebody else like me that can say like, hey, how much time are you gonna give Cody? But here's the honest to goodness truth though of the situation. Babyface champions aren't great long-term champions like a heel champion is. Like, it's all about the babyface chasing. Like, so like this goes back to like Sting when he was in WCW Rhodesia. And actually, no, before that, NWA. Like, right, everybody was for Sting, beating Ric Flair. Like, everybody, but then once Sting got the championship, it was kind of like, okay. Like, it didn't kind of matter. Yeah, it didn't matter who he wrestled, almost kind of, right? He would wrestle all these different guys, but it's like, all right, we got it's like you got the girl, right? And then you had that big moment with her, and then afterwards you'd be like,
Well,
Like,
that's just because
like,
that
right,
means
and then
her stuff wasn't good. That's the only time you get that. So you've been chasing a woman and you finally get her
About
goods.
time. It only
No,
took
for
50
real
seconds
talk.
to
No,
get
real
it.
talk. Real talk.
the height is that, though. The height is that.
No. Because when
Height is
you
that.
get in that and you like, oh no, this is it. This is where it's at. You're not gonna feel that way. Now you get in there, and you're
Now
like,
we
oh, this
talking.
wasn't what I was waiting for.
So
Then
now-
that's when you feel that way.
Now we
No,
can-
because listen, see, back before
right there.
I was married, when your boy was a dog. Look, I'm looking for the next thrill now. I'm on to the next mountain I need to climb.
Yeah, you need to find. You need to find
Look,
that woman that got that good.
Hey, look. I'm on to the next.
I do think with Cody, and it's not, it's the story, right? For you to have a babyface champion, the stories has got to be immaculate. And so far, we're now getting to that point, right? Like we are now getting to sink our teeth into him and AJ. The first few was just, let's have a great match. I'm the number one contender. Next match was, hey, I'm Logan Paul. I'm a big name and I'm going to beat you. Now we're getting into, all right, pro wrestling with this I Quit match. So we'll see what they have planned for him in SummerSlam. But I don't think it's him per se. I just think it's the story.
Hey, you know what, Matt? Like this is like you know when you watch like Flash on CW and like Arrow on CW, like right, like you had like that big bad guy that was like kind of like the undercurrent of like the season, and then at the very end of the season, then Flash finally fought that big bad guy. But before he got that big bad guy, he had like the villain of the week, and like the villain of the week episodes typically weren't as engaging as the episodes when he was dealing with the big menace, right?
The long term.
That's where Cody is right now, right? Like he's in the villain of the week. Like AJ, villain of the week. Logan Paul, villain of the week. He don't have right now that villain that's coming to get him that you got to worry about. That's a real threat to him in the championship and his title run.
And
like,
that's interesting, right?
That's
because
the issue he's having right now.
Who's even on deck on SmackDown? As a heel, who's on deck?
The Bloodline, and they're mixed up with Roman right now.
Yeah, like that's not. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, maybe you could say Solo, maybe, but that's not the money. Like I don't think that's the case because even on Raw, you got Gunther, you got Damian Priest. Who else you got on Raw? Like money, top heels.
Are you calling Drew?
As of right now,
say you calling Drew?
Yeah, as of right now. Yep. So I mean, you got 3, and then you compare it to I can't even think of one on SmackDown. I want to go back real quick. Our guy Eric chimed in on Twitter when we were talking about the Lucha Bros. He said WWE says we need new music for Lucha Bros. Def Rebel says say no more. He said that music is going to be Lucha Brothers, generic Mexican style. But as we talked about a couple weeks ago, if they look at the Lucha Bros as stars, Def Rebel's going to bang out a song for them.
It don't matter what Def Rebel do, man, because when Alex come with him, he gonna get everybody hyped, and everybody's gonna enjoy whatever this generic music that we gonna have.
You are willing to die on this Alex Cross
over
Roddy Cross. Okay. All right.
Let's go.
I'm through.
Hey, Alex wasn't given a world title match either. Or international title.
And I remember when I went on my rant about why I got to stop watching weekly intently AEW TV, and I brought up the whole Roddy thing. And I saw on Twitter somebody was just like, you don't know the plan. What if this whole thing is to insert MJF into the world title picture? Because who did MJF feud with when he got injured? It was Adam Cole. What group is Roddy Strong in with? He's in a group with Adam Cole. That match happened with nothing to what you were saying, person. Okay?
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Excuses.
But it's okay. It doesn't really matter at this point because it sounds like it has something to do with the devil story. And then the devil story, I'm over it. I don't want to hear anything about a devil again.
Hey, let me do one last quick check-in before we leave SmackDown. Let's do a Jay check-in. How's she doing?
Oh, I got that. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
I think she's getting better and better, and I love it. And I think I tweeted it too. You can see the work she's doing on house shows, and what you're seeing is timing. I always talk about go back and watch matches. If you could pull up, hell, you could even go to the Rumble, even though the Rumble was just spot. But watch her first match she had on WWE, and then watch what she did on Friday. Her timing is getting much better. You can literally see the work each and every week. So kudos to Jade. I know she's out there working the tag matches with Bianca, but you can see it. So I'm happy with where she's at.
Same here. When you said that, I was getting visuals in my head, like the hand-eye coordination playing video games, like old school, like so playing Super Mario Brothers. And I always sucked at it because my timing was always so bad. But like you, in a lot of these games with Matthew, it's the momentum, right? You just got to know the timing. You got to know how long you hold the button when you release it. It's just all the timing, and it makes a flawless performance. And for her, I think she's getting it. Like you said, it's just more time you play, the more you do it. Just the at bats. Again, you can't rush experience and get in there. And you're absolutely right on the timing piece. You gotta you look when someone is looking like they're counting their steps, it's because the timing is completely off. If you just feel it and you know it's there, it's gonna be there. You Irish rip somebody in there, you know that they're coming back at that amount of time. You don't have to count it. You just know it. And like you said, you gain that through just doing it in the repetition.
Yeah, when I watched like their tag team match and just her interactions with Bianca, I'm like, oh, she's in the perfect spot right now. She's in a tag. She's learning. She's working with Bianca. I'm sure they're probably pretty comfortable with. She has a good rapport with her. I know that she was doing work with Natty when she first got there. I would imagine maybe she still is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just tell like she's getting more and more comfortable to the point to where when I watch her matches, like I don't notice anything. Like so, when I would watch her matches AEW, like and I'm not looking for it. Like it's just when you watch it, you be like, oh, that don't look like it's supposed to be that way, or like, oh, like that look kind of clunky, that look kind of weird. Like when I watch her matches now, it's like I don't notice anything that I don't think I'm supposed to notice, and I think that's a good thing, right? Like I don't need to see the magic. That's the one thing about wrestling. Like I don't want to see the magic trick. Like I wanted this to happen organically on my screen and not take me out in the moment. And I feel like she's been doing that for me.
Yep.
Speaking of the magic trick, E, real quick, Rhodesia, did you see E at the end of SmackDown where the producer was hollering at the Bloodline to put the ones up?
No, I didn't.
She was still on camera, and yeah, I guess they didn't do it the one time, and you can see her holler. She was like, "Put them up," and they finally put them up. Then they went off the air.
She was doing the Triple H.
Work shoot. Could have been one of those though. Maybe they meant to do that. Maybe they intentionally meant to do that so you could see her do that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Our guy Brandon James has said, "Yeah, go ahead."
I was going to say just with Jade. I was going to just say with Jade around, it was like the second televised tag team match she had. I had made a comment and said, where before I was kind of always sitting on the edge of my seat, like, oh, don't mess up. And then it was just like in that match, I'm like, okay, I don't even have to worry about her anymore. So like you said, E, as far as waiting for maybe something to happen or like, oh, I don't have that feeling with her anymore. And again, I'm going to go on the record again and saying that her not going to NXT might have been the best decision for her.
My goodness, Rhodesia
I was wrong.
Twice in one episode. She called Cody Hody and she apologized twice. This may be the best work you've ever done, Rhodesia. Keep up the good work. I was talking about Brandon James. He said, I think if she's talking about Jade, I think if she's at the level Triple H wants her to be by the end of the year, we'll be looking at a mega power story with Jade and Bianca. And I said, do you think we get it next Mania? He said, I think so. Jade feels more like a natural heel, and Bianca deserves more than a 6-women tag match. I don't want them. I mean, I want this going as long as possible. Like, I know Mania's a long way away, and I also understand that asking for this team to stay together for over a year before breaking up may be a lot, but I want it bubbling to the point where you have no choice but to look at this as a main event WrestleMania match. And I just don't know if they get there for 41.
Okay, so you just answered my question. I was going to ask, so then are you talking about Mania 41 then or 42?
I would be looking at 42. Me personally, I would be looking at 42 the earliest. Even Eric is seeing that Rhodesia. He said, "Is that the real Rhodesia? What is happening exactly?"
You remember like Martin Lawrence on his tour promoting the movie, and they're like, "Oh, he's a clone. I'm a clone right now."
Eric also said pairing Jade with Bianca was the best thing for her. I guarantee Bianca is helping her closely with her timing and confidence in the ring. You can see it.
Yep,
you can see it. last one from SmackDown, speaking of confidence, Tiffany Stratton owned her backstage segment with Nia Jax.
When does she? When she doesn't?
Yeah, but I'm here for Tiffany and Nia Jax, saying she wants to be the princess of the ring. Maybe we get that as a tag team title match. I don't know, because we were talking about like who's next for Cody. Who the hell is next for Bianca and Jade? Or not even next. Who could beat them? Like, it would have to be some type of dissension right now with how that tag division is constructed for anybody to even get close to beating Bianca and Jade. But I just want them running with it for a really, really long time.
Yeah, I think they're end up beating themselves. I think it's gonna be like the Mega Powers implode type thing. Like something gonna pop off over a time of period with them. But hey, but it's funny we talk about Nia. Like, you know what Nia, like in that segment, she kept tripping. At first I'm like, damn, she tripped. And then I giggled. And then she tripped again. I'm like, you know what? I bet the second time she tripped on purpose, right? But either way, I'm like, man, like Nia is amazing. I love her on my screen, man.
Nia fell 3 times in 10 seconds. And keep Nia the fuck away from tables.
Tables are
tables. It is like
Nia.
Superman and Kryptonite, to use E's analogy earlier. It is like oil and water. It is like good booking and Tony Khan.
I don't know. Actually, Nia needs to actually get an award for this because
that's rough.
After the first slip, for her not to start cracking up laughing.
She did tweet out. She did tweet out after that, slippery when wet, and I was like, now we talking.
Oh, ain't that
now
the truth,
we
though,
talking.
She's a freak.
She's a
freak.
Hell yeah,
ain't that the truth, Nia? God damn it! But man, I ain't gonna let you slide with that sneaky ass dig that you did on our boy Tony Khan.
Hey man,
you gonna say like he was like like Tony Khan and good booking, they don't mix like it. But real quick, like let's talk about Tony Khan real quick because we got a few more minutes left. He had said something like I made a comment. Actually, I lost it, but he said, "I'll book for the sickos like me. That's who I care about." And I actually was kind of impressed by the statement because I'm like, all right, you know what? Stand on it. Like, right? All right. If that's what you want to, if that's your vision for your company is, wrestling, heavy wrestling, and okay, cool. But in my opinion, he needs to figure out how he can make that attractive as possible for a load of people, not just from a couple people. But I actually was kind of like, yeah, Tony, sicko mode, go ahead with it. Stand on your business. So that's why Ricochet is going there, right? Like I can go there. All I gotta do is worry about wrestling, being the best Ricochet. But how can I make my product stand out and stand above all others on just focusing solely on wrestling? That would be something you got to figure out.
I ain't got nothing to add to that, sicko. But let's talk about Vince McMahon, sicko. Randy Orton had a quote. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. He said, on the top of my head, listen, I love Vince. He gave me so many opportunities. I think it was kind of time for him to move on. It's unfortunate that it happened the way it happened, but it's nice having people in charge of me that understand how important it is for you to be home for birthdays, home for Thanksgiving, and home for Christmas. Vince McMahon had Raw on Monday nights live. He doesn't care if you have kids. Listen to this. He says, I came to him when I was 35. My back really started going, and I pleaded with him like, man, I got to not do as many shows and maybe do half the tour to be able to recover. He just looked at me and said, I need you on those shows, Randy. Mother Nature gets us all.
Hell, Punk said this, 10 years ago?
To hear that and go, okay, well, I guess there is no other thing I can do other than just wear myself out down to the thumb, to the nub until I can't walk anymore for this man. All the opportunities he gave me, it's nice having him out of there. It's nice having his son-in-law, Triple H, running the game. Nick Khan is great. Everybody at TKO that comes in and stepped in, they seem to get it, and it's a different era. I think the way that they care for talent nowadays and make sure the talent is good, and if they need a little bit of break, we're only human, they get it most of the time. Very interesting.
Equals. That means Randy said he's glad that gone. That's exactly what he says right there.
Hell yeah, he said that. 100%.
Yep, he was saying that.
He said good riddance.
This is like the third or fourth interview he's kind of alluded to. I think
he can't wait to give it up, right?
Yeah, he gave it up
we
more.
We just said hi, Randy. He's
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love Vince. Vince did a lot for my career, but I'm glad his ass is gone, man. Like, yo, let me tell you what Vince did last week. I mean, he just ready to tell you now that he gone. Everybody glad that Vince is gone, man. He was horrible.
Hey, Randy, you had one of the better comebacks at Survivor Series. He's like, I did, didn't I? And that was in the spot that Vince McMahon shitted on everybody when he told them back, like, Vince wasn't even there, Randy. Relax. But shout out to Randy. shout out to Randy. Bron Breakker. I said I want to bring on Bron Breakker. So we got an update on Bron Breakker. I had talked about last week on the pod, like, he's my new guy since, like, Roman's gone. And now the sources are saying they have completely altered their creative plans for Bron Breakker. He has impressed many higher ups in his short stint on Raw. A source states Breakker is slated to be a major focus heading into the Netflix era. A quote was, with his age, speed, look, and pedigree, this rare combination of talents isn't to be overlooked. Seeing they said pedigree, we know it was from Triple H. I like that. Of course, I love that. We had a listener comment on Instagram, which I got to start checking Instagram more. So shout out to everybody who follows us on IG. We're going to start posting more there. And of course, on X, we're live right now on X. That's FNW. But his name is 2 Dogs, 2 Cats, 22.
Let's go.
So you really like the numbers too. I like that. He said, hey guys, I know Matt was talking about Bron Breakker. Do you guys think the way Bron Breakker acts when he gets angry is similar to Ken Shamrock when he was in WWF? Also, what if there was a match between Bron Breakker and Braun Strowman? The Battle of the Bronze. So what do you guys think? Rhodesia, you may not be able to speak to. Was Shamrock?
No.
Okay.
He wasn't watching that.
Shamrock was cool until you tested him, and then he was just like, he would go psycho mode on you. Kind of thing. So I can see that. I think that's kind of similar. What do you think, E?
Yeah. Like, I was a big Ken Shamrock guy. It was something about him that didn't connect fully with me as a wrestler. I think maybe it was his voice. He had like this very like high pitch. Like, his voice didn't really match like the way he act and the way he
like
looked.
Brock Lesnar.
I would say just like Brock.
No, worse than Brock.
Wow.
Worse than Brock. But no, I can see that.
So what about a Bron Breakker, Braun
Okay.
Strowman match? Give me that.
So,
and hell,
the
and
loser
of course,
has to drop the
have
bra.
Bron Breakker go over
Yeah.
and do something ungodly to Braun Strowman.
Not
That would be one of his statement video package type moments, right? You put that, whatever he does to Braun in the video packages, and like you're off to the races with him.
Not interested.
Do we think it's just too many people at the top right now that Braun Strowman isn't a main guy, because he's come back now, and right before he left, he was kind of buddy pal with Ricochet. It just seems like the last 2 years of Bron Strowman from what we've been seeing of him, is like he's trying to help the little guy, and I just don't like that. So is it just because there's no spot for him right now to be a main guy?
Ever since his ass made that dumb tweet about the little guys, remember that? Hell, he's been eating it every single time I look at him. He around all these smaller guys. I giggle to myself. Like,
try to put him over. You got to put him over now. Yeah. So then maybe that's kind of what it is, and this is him earning his stripes and repenting from that he did. He posted.
But Strowman is an attraction. Keep him far away from the main event scene for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need that.
But then at a point when you become just like, all right, whatever. Yeah, again, he's massive, he's tall, he has the aura, like you said, he's an attraction, but at a point you don't care anymore about the attraction. Just like his name is not Saddam Singh in AEW, tall Indian dude.
He never was an attraction though.
But what I'm saying is that I'm saying he could be an attraction because he is like 8 feet tall. I forgot his name, and sorry to that man.
And you can't teach that. You talking about Big Cass?
I'm not talking about Big Cass.
Somebody put that video up. Somebody put the video up a couple days ago of when, man, you forget how over Cass and Enzo was. They put the video up when they debuted the night after Mania. I think it was in Jersey
or something?
I can't remember where it was at. You just, man, they were over. And such a fun act. Like,
yep.
I'm surprised Enzo hasn't found himself back on national TV anywhere.
But he did some controversial stuff too as well?
Yeah,
like he wanted to fight people in companies and stuff?
No, it was way worse than that. It was something with like a woman, but it came out that wasn't true, or he didn't get found guilty of it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he just messing with the wrong people doing the wrong stuff, man. I just don't. I don't think people want to be bothered with Enzo. To be honest with you, I don't because I don't think Tony was probably a fan of his ring work. If you ain't a ring guy, he ain't gonna really mess with you like that.
You're not a sicko.
But he's a sicko.
You know,
I
think you are just working with WWE.
I do. Before we get out of here, we talked a little bit of AEW. I do want to talk about this past Wednesday. So we potted on Wednesday, our first week doing the Wednesday pod. We drop on Thursdays on your favorite audio.
Or you could just watch live on Wednesday on Twitter.
And I watched Dynamite after we potted, but I was able to fast forward. Remember, I was always watching it live. Dynamite is a much better show when you casually watch it and you can fast forward through things that you don't think you're going to care about. It was a really good show on Wednesday because I fast forwarded through, I think, 2 segments. But more importantly than that, it was just I wasn't watching it the way I usually consume wrestling. I am usually consuming it like I'm all in. I'm paying attention. I'm really dissecting it, and not dissecting it to find things wrong, but that's how I consume wrestling. Like, I'm in it. So same way when I watch sports, like I'm paying attention to everything. And when you don't do that with AEW, it's much more attractive. So I like it. I think it was a good call for me to do this. It's kind of like, when you go to rehab and you got to wean yourself off of some of the drugs. Sometimes I think I'm weaning myself off of the perception of I have to watch AEW the same way I watch WWE, and knowing if I can watch it casually and fast forward through, I want to fast forward through and not let the learning tree get to me, because either I can fast forward through it or take it as, man, it's stupid, but I'll watch it because it's stupid. Not bad show. I liked it.
Okay, my only thing for AEW, I have some questions to ask y'all in the end, but MJF promo, hit or miss? I think it's borderline. It was a hit for me because he went after a whole bunch of different people, but it's a miss for me personally as a fan because I still don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I know when he came back a couple weeks ago, he had said, forget all of that, I'm back to MJF. So is that assuming that you are a bad guy? So for me, because I don't know who he is quite yet as a character, good guy, bad guy, that's where it's a miss. For y'all, hit or miss for his promo.
I'd say it was a hit. He's absolutely positioned as a babyface. I mean, like Roosh is positioned as the heel, like right heel. He made a point to come out there and disrespect the audience. I think what you're getting with MJF is like him being the babyface, but trying to still have that same edge as a heel, which is why he went after, Swerve, who's positioned as a babyface right now. Was the reason why he went after Will Ospreay, who was also positioned as a babyface. But they're also at the top of the pecking order as far as like fan interest. So definitely he's absolutely positioned as a babyface. It might be a miss if, you as a viewer weren't able to see that. That's maybe something they need to work on. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a huge hit either, though. To be honest with you, I felt like, some of the zings was like, some of the zing wasn't zinging for me, to be honest with you. But, it felt like a big deal for him to be out there, which is why I'm saying it was an overall hit for me.
It was a hit for me. He's got to be careful, though, because I've seen 3 different tweets about Ricochet coming to WWE and people using an MJF photo and then cutting an MJF promo just in words of what he's going to say to Ricochet. Damn near word for word is what he would say to Ricochet. So he's got to be careful of falling into his formulaic of making fun of their name, doing a dig at where they came from, and then hollering like the last 2 words of said sentence. So it was a hit, but he's got to be careful of falling in that trap of people being able to know what he's going to say before he even says it.
Got it. Well, I just asked a couple quick questions. This is like you can give me feedback. It shouldn't be a long drawn out because we want to go home. But see on Collision, Chris Statlander has a new entrance. I thought on the Titantron, it's really cool. Have y'all got a chance to check that out?
I didn't see it.
What about Thick Statlander?
Of course, it's that time.
I'm
right?
sorry, I missed
it.
What you saying? What about
she has a new entrance, or video package. On her Titantron.
Oh no, Titantron I haven't seen it
in AEW. No, it's pretty cool. I like. Yeah, I'm giving it kudos for that because we're changing her and we're building her as a different character. So I was happy to see that. Question or comment or thoughts? Looks like Jack Perry is being positioned to be next up for the TNT Championship. There for it.
Sure.
I'm not. I can't believe you got a guy like Malachi Black on your roster, and you feel. And I think Jack is actually doing some of the better heel work he's done in that company. I like what they're doing with them, but when you got a guy like Malachi Black, like I feel like he's better in ring. To me personally, maybe to my taste, I think he's a better character. I think his faction is more over than Elite in a lot of ways too. But they won't give this man a serious run. But I think they're setting up this whole title and tournament to give it to Jack. I'm not here for that only because I feel like he's taking an opportunity. And like sometimes like it's that WAN thing, like, oh, my wrestler's in the wrestling match that I want. Like I got that from Brian Gortz. Like I feel like that's what's happening with me. But like I would rather see Malachi Black in that position than Jack Perry. But I do think Jack Perry's doing well with what they're giving him.
That's probably where I would probably say I'm there for it, just because he came back and he made a splash and he's important, more important than what I thought that he would have been, especially after the whole Punk thing. So I would say rightfully so, go ahead and give him the championship. But I see your point too, but I think we kind of already beat that drum about Malachi Black already several times. Matt?
No, I say I agree. I say I was here for it.
Okay. We talking about championships and 101 Dalmatians that we have. We are introducing a new championship tonight or on Battleground, the NXT Women International.
Hey,
whatever it's called. Go. So are we gonna hate on that, or are we happy for it? I'm excited for it.
No, I'm here for it. They need another. I don't want to call it mid-card, but they need another title in NXT. See, because unlike a lot of these other promotions, they actually know how to book women strong. So they have a lot of women that are not at the level where they could be fighting for the world championship. So give them a secondary title. So I'm here for it 100%.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not like AEW got enough titles for the whole industry right now, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, damn, another title. But then I'm like, oh, that's AEW. Like that's not NXT and WWE. That's AEW. Like they're not the same. But actually, Matt just said it. Like I think NXT probably not only have the most potential. Like Shawn Michaels is the GOAT. He knows how to. We all talk about his recruitment. He knows what he's doing. But they got a lot of women. And I was listening to like Brian Alvarez the other day talk about like when you watch NXT, you know exactly who these women are. Like, right, you know what they're about. Like, right, you know kind of like their story and their position. And I feel like I know more about the women in NXT, not because they're attractive to me as well. But I feel like the NXT women's division seems to outdo kind of the men in some ways. Like, right? And
it does.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. My top 3 matches for Battleground tonight are women's matches that I'm looking forward to the most.
Right. And they have fewer titles. So it will make sense. And then there's more storylines too, I kind of feel like, with the women, because there's so many of them. So it only makes sense to give another title so you can kind of give other women something to kind of fight for.
Cool. And last question for me is a this or that. It's either Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce. Just answer the question. Who's going to put hands on their talent first? Because they both be irritated at their whole roster.
That's a good one. I'm going to go Nick Aldis because I can see Nick Aldis working a match before Pearce.
Man, Nick Aldis is only like 34 years old or something like that, man. Like, you know, like, man, we talked about it. Like, I thought the dude was like 40 something. Like, you know what I'm saying? This man is young. I would imagine that he want to get in the ring at some point. Like, right? And I bet, like, once he takes off that suit, he's probably like in awesome condition.
Incredible shape,
right?
yeah.
He's in
like,
peak condition, yeah.
Now, if Adam Pearce puts his hand on Brian, he's gonna get his ass whooped. We gonna be we not gonna have a GM on Raw for a couple months, right? Cause he don't want that running spear that Brian doing. Cause I don't give a damn how they protect each other. Like he going too damn fast to really protect somebody on that spear. If old man Adam gotta take that, shit, man, I'm gonna feel it in my ass, man.
Yo. I'm going with Nick Aldis.
Time to go.
Yeah, I'm going with Nick Aldis.
Time to go. Hit that
No
follow
pause.
button wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We are there. Leave us a 5-star review. I've been asking for reviews. I think the last one we had was March. That makes it look like nobody's listening to us. Do us a favor. Show we just aren't talking out in the universe and nobody's listening. We know you guys are listening. And speaking of, I was talking about, let me see what country was that. Let me see real quick because I came on here and I think I was semi-disrespectful that 1 week. And I apologize to my people. We're moving up in Ghana. So shout out to our folks in Ghana and shout out to Belgium. Number 42 on the charts. So shout out to Belgium. We're 20
We only have 45 podcasts. That's the podcast. That's so sad.
Boy, oh boy, Rhodesia, you do so good and then you just shit the bed as soon as we're
First off, I'm always good.
We are out of here.
Always
we will be
good.
back on a Wednesday night live on Twitter.
There we go.
Thursday on your favorite podcast platforms. Leave us comments, all that kind of good stuff. Thanks for rocking with us. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time.